Hello, I'm Lamisila Pamela Ngubane, and this is the Entity Dynamics podcast. Entity Dynamics is a culture development consultancy where we believe that culture creates behavior and behavior creates reality. So, the title of this video is A Culture of Expressing Thank You. So, the two words thank you. So, obviously, thank you is an expression of gratitude. And so, what I did in my room, and like in a couple of places around my house, is I wrote the words thank you and I put a little heart next to it, um, so that I could see them and say them and think them and feel them, right? I'd been thinking about doing this for a while, but I haven't gotten around to it for some reason. I'm very bad at procrastinating, but then sometimes I also think maybe I'm just not ready for a certain experience. And so it's in my mind, and then eventually I get to a point where I simply have to physicalize it, right? So I wrote thank you in cursive. And, it reminded me because the vibe shifted. And that's the thing, gratitude is one of those high vibrational feelings, or attitudes, Um, it just puts you in alignment and makes you feel also very calm because when you are saying thank you to someone or something, or when you're saying thank you to the creator or to nature, to the earth, for whatever she gives us, you're saying, you're expressing that you don't have any lack, you're not lacking anything. You're also expressing a sense of well-being, and safety, which then makes you calm down and feel relaxed and feel like hopeful. So it's a very powerful thing to do, to express thank you. And when I had written it and I felt like the vibration in my room shift, and I felt very like higher vibrational, it made me think of Masaru Emoto's work. So Masaru Emoto is a Japanese scientist who saw that when water is exposed to a particular vibration or picture or words, the crystals that it forms when it freezes have a particular formation. And if they're exposed to something beautiful, they'll have a very beautiful formation, like the six pointed snowflake we normally see. And they vary, in their formation. And some of them are just absolutely exquisite. I mean, there was one where a Buddhist monk had prayed on the water, and it almost made like a mandala type of shape, like amazing. And then there was one that had a picture of a dolphin put on it. And when I saw that flake, that snowflake, you could say, that water crystal, it reminded me of a map of Atlantis that I'd seen. I mean, I just thought that was so wild. And then conversely, when it was exposed to the words, I hate you, it formed a crystal that literally looked like a man holding a gun ready to shoot someone, And then there was some other one where, he took water from a polluted stream and it just couldn't form a crystal. It was like all these globules, So, and it was ugly. It was like a globules of dirt. And then there was one from the spring at Lourdes in France, where that water is said to have healing properties. And again, very beautiful, serene looking crystal, which itself emanates a vibration, the crystal itself emanates a vibration. So, and this is what water does, like Bruce Lee, there was a video where he's like coaching someone that he's fighting with, or training someone or something, or preparing someone for a tournament. And he said, you must flow like the water. When water is in a cup, it becomes a cup. When it's in a kettle, it becomes a kettle. Water assumes the shape of whatever vessel it's in, and it assumes the shape of the riverbed, and similarly, it assumes the shape or the vibration of the environment that it's in or the words that it is exposed to. And another thing that I did actually was to write the word thank you on a glass. It's a glass jar that I use. We recycle our glass jars here and we use them to drink out of. So I wrote it on a glass jar. And that's a very powerful thing to do, because if you write the words thank you on a glass jar and put water in it, when you drink that water has the frequency of thank you in it, and then when you put it into your body, it actually will bring the frequency of gratitude into your body, into your cells. And so your body now is vibrating on the frequency of thank you. And thank you for what? Well, thank you for whatever's good for it. Because that's the thing about thank you. It's always affirming your well-being, Also, though, what's very interesting about it is that you can say thank you to negative experiences. And what you can even do, if you can, somewhere where something negative has happened to you, you can go and write the word thank you there, or write it on a piece of paper and drop it at the place, because that negative experience will help you to develop greater insight into the human condition, greater empathy, and a greater understanding of your own ability to withstand trauma and suffering. Sometimes people do things to you thinking they're going to break you, but then you come out of it stronger and wiser than you were before. So you say thank you to that experience because it has made you level up. It's like when you play a TV game and then you have to play like against this boss and that boss, and then there's the final boss. Each time your skill level increases. Similarly, your skill level for life increases, so you can say thank you. And it's also a very powerful way of embracing and assimilating your shadow, is to say thank you to whatever it is that you fear, because it's teaching you courage. Say thank you to whatever it is that makes you feel sad and uncomfortable, because it's teaching you empathy. It's teaching you self-love as well. And that's another thing you can do, is say thank you to yourself. For each time you take care of yourself, each time you do something whose consequences are for your highest good, you thank yourself. And that's showing self-love and showing gratitude for the self-love that you're able to show yourself. It's a very, very powerful thing to do, to say thank you, especially when you're saying thank you to yourself for doing things whose consequences are for your highest good. Because ultimately, you are here. You come here alone. You come through your mother. You are an individual alone, even naked, just to show how alone you are. And when you die, it's an individual experience, So you, as a being in this embodied situation called your body, your mind, your emotions, your identity, your ego, essentially, are the prime creator of your experience on this planet, And so when you can do things for yourself that you can be sincerely grateful for, you are now aligning with your creator and your mission that you agreed with your creator to do here. So it's very powerful. And, the reality is we're actually in a spiritual war. And the war is for the consciousness of humanity. So when you can express gratitude, it's a very small thing. And especially if you can write it, because what I realize about writing it is that it's permanently there. It's now a part of the environment, this expression of gratitude. It's now a fixture in the environment. It's permanently radiating the frequency of gratitude into the atmosphere. It's just like a beautiful building in a place that radiates the vibration of beauty, of humanity's creative ability. It affects your consciousness when you see it. You know what I'm saying? So similarly, when I see these words, thank you, my mind goes to a place of gratitude. So in the spiritual war, our ability to express gratitude is a extremely powerful weapon, but an extremely simple one to execute. So, I'd encourage you, because any contribution to the war effort is greatly appreciated and greatly effective, towards raising the collective vibration of humanity, so that we can actually overcome those that want to keep our frequency low and us in bondage. Okay, thank you. Bye.